Welcome to the new series of Talking Hair Loss. We've got 12 people, 12 haircuts, and 12 incredible chats about hair loss. Honest conversations in the barber chair about hair loss, thinning, and receding, with a little bit of advice from me along the way. With new episodes coming every 2 weeks, this is the second series of Talking Hair Loss. And this series is made possible by our sponsor, Manual. Alright guys, welcome back to the Regal Gentleman Studio, and welcome back to Talking Hair Loss Series 2. Now this is our very last episode in this series, and we have Harry in the chair. How are you doing?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
Good. I'm very well, thanks. I'm very well. So, talk to me. Tell me about how we can help you with your hair loss today.
You can help me by basically telling me what I can do with my hair.
Okay.
Like it's sort of like it goes all over the place. Mm-hmm. It's quite thin on top, as you can see. Okay. And it basically does whatever it wants in all sorts of directions. Okay. This is bushy as hell, and yeah, so whatever you feel would suit.
Okay.
The current.
Okay, well, let's have a little chat and figure out a little bit about what you're looking for and what you'd be happy with. So, what would you like to do with your hair in an ideal world?
In an ideal world, I wake up in the morning, I get up out of bed, and I don't have to do much at all. Okay, that's a really good start. Yeah, great. Do you know what? That really helps, because at the moment, I don't think you can do that with your hair. I can't.
Because it looks like you've got a side part, because or something that's trying to cover the hair loss. By that hanging over there. Now, I know you did have a hat on, didn't you, when you were outside? Yeah. So this is a little bit of hat hair right now. But if we look at your last cut, right? Let's have a little look. So where you've got a lot of the kind of like the undercuts going on through there, and I know why they're there, right? They're there to obviously cover up whatever we can, right? Yeah. The only problem is that when you've not got a lot of density on top and you've got longer strands of hair, they become really unmanageable. So it's like you're trying to figure out where they're meant to go. So where's that bit meant to go with the rest of the hair? Do you get what I mean?
Yes.
Where's that meant to go on the sides if it hangs over, right? Yes. We have to kind of tuck that away and hide it away, right? What you're probably better off going for is something very short and kind of just a little bit textured. So if you bring this forwards, right, it does give a bit more coverage on the top. If it's up, obviously it separates, right? So you can see straight through it. If you bring it forward and the shorter you go, the thicker that would look. Because the longer it gets, the thinner it becomes. Because it starts to bind together as it gets a bit longer. So I would probably suggest is that we just cut your hair nice and short, just to like a maybe 1.5 inches in length or something like that. Just nice short, what we probably class as like a crop, right? Yeah. Something short, a little bit of texture going through it. So when you wake up in the morning, give a little rinse through, bit of product, done. Yeah. Right? Simple as that. No long bits, no bits hanging over. Just cut it like a really uniform haircut, and it won't expose any more hair loss at all. But it definitely won't expose more. You know, that's the main thing. So I think if we did that, that would help massively for you.
Perfect.
So we get rid of the undercut that you've got kind of going on the side. Now back and sides, your call. Whatever you'd like to do. So do you want to go fairly short, not quite tight, or would you prefer to keep some length in the back and sides?
Quite short. To be honest, Do
you have a length in mind, like a guard with a clipper, or do you prefer scissored? What do you prefer?
I mean, would it look better the shorter it is, or?
Yeah, I'd say so,
Well, in that case, yes.
The only reason I say that is because the shorter you go around the back and sides, the more density it looks like there is on top. So if you keep hair on the back and sides, because that's so much thicker than everywhere else, it draws the eye to the scalp exposure. You know? So if I was you, I would probably say a good length, maybe not necessarily scalp exposure on the back and sides. I think that could be a little bit too aggressive, I would say. I would probably suggest like a number 3 or number 4 or something like that. So it's short, but it's not like, you know, over the top short. And then that way we can still build up and still have a little bit of length on the top. Perfect. I would say that'd be quite nice. And then we'll blend it into your beard, taper your neck out nice and tight, and just something that's just really get up and go kind of style, if that makes sense, yeah?
Absolutely, yeah.
All right, cool, perfect, I think that would be great, yeah. Awesome. If you're okay with that suggestion, then I think we give it a go.
Very okay with that. Yeah.
Awesome. Amazing. Right. Well, I'll get you gowned up. We'll get it washed, and then we'll go from there. All right.
Perfect.
So thank you to the sponsor of this video and to the series, Manual, and obviously a massive thank you to you. You know, your subscribing, your likes, your amazing comments, and just the full support of Series 1, Talking Hair Loss, has allowed us to create Series 2 of Talking Hair Loss. And thank you to Manual again for helping us bring a taboo subject to the mainstream and letting everyone talk about it and feel good about themselves. So for those of you who don't know already, Manual are a British company dedicated to becoming the destination for men's health. Manual offer tailored and medically approved treatments for a variety of issues specifically for men's health. And it's the hair loss treatments we're talking about today. The best thing about it all, it's all online. You visit the website, answer a questionnaire about your medical history, and receive a treatment recommendation. Your information goes to a specialist doctor on the platform, and from there you're consulted on a specific treatment plan for your case. You receive the products at home on a caring basis with a medical follow-up throughout. As you know, we always recommend manual to you guys, but I also recommend manual to my clients in the studio. Now we've actually got some on the shelf, so come and have a little look what we've got. So we've got the power shampoo, which I use on anybody who during the consultation tells me they're having some sort of hair loss problem. I will use this on them as well. We've got the all-in-one capsule too, which has got the minoxidil, 2.5 milligrams, plus finasteride, 1 milligram as well. We've got the hair vitamins, which I personally use myself. They strengthen, they help fortify the hair, and again, as you can see, they contain biotin and collagen, very similar to what the shampoo also contains with the biotin too, a very active ingredient for helping with hair loss. Then we've got the 10% minoxidil for topical use too. And also for season 2, anyone who comes onto the channel will also get these courtesy of Manual free of charge as well. And Manual have also been kind enough to offer you a discount to celebrate the series on the channel. Code's on the screen now, but it's also in the description in case you miss it. And the link to follow is also in the description. Click that to find out more about Manual and also the hair loss treatments. And thanks again to Manual for bringing a second series of Talking Hair Loss to the channel. Now, back to the video. Right, so I've just shampooed and conditioned Harry's hair. Now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna start by cutting the top. I want to get this shape in. So the thing is with this as well, Harry will start to see this haircut come into life as we cut it, right? If I did the back and sides first, you wouldn't really get the same effect. And I always like working from the top down. I think it's great for these kind of hairstyles, nice short hairstyles. It's always nice to work from the top. So I'm going to start by separating it just at the back, at the round of the head, just before the crown. It's always nice to get the crown in play, and then we sort of freehand that at the end. Bring that down. And then I'm going to start by cutting the top in. So I'm going to take a profile section straight down either side of the centre, about a finger width section, because we're taking some good amount of length off the top. So we can take quite a short section, quite a thin section, just like that. Straight down the middle, not apart, just like that. So that's what the section looks like from the top, okay? Just like that, okay? So Harry, when did you start noticing that you were suffering with hair loss?
Quite early, I think, like mid-20s.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it wasn't that big of a surprise, to be honest. I mean, my whole dad's family is bald.
Oh, okay.
But weirdly enough, all of the men and boys on my mum's side have an extraordinary amount of hair.
Really?
So I felt very unlucky that I'm like the only one that doesn't.
Yeah,
and to the point where some people just can't even manage hair because it's too much. I was just like, give me some, I'd be happy to take it. But
100%.
Yeah, no, it's quite frustrating and debilitating in the beginning, I have to say, because it's just, you know, not something you sign up for or like you're actually aware of. Actually, like Barber told me without me actually realizing, first of all, when to get a haircut, and was like, oh mate, it's looking really like thin at the back. And I was like, oh. Really?
Oh, wow. I mean, that's I'll be honest with you, if I know the person, I'll kind of talk to them about it, but it's something that I don't think I'd ever just come out and say it, if I'm honest with you.
To be honest, it made me feel quite uncomfortable.
I was going to say, yeah, probably would do. Yeah, I'm not surprised, yeah. I think hair loss is such a sensitive thing. I think it's something that, you know, if you start to notice it, there's a way of sort of like, the question that I'd say, oh, have you noticed any changes in your hair lately? Mm-hmm. And if you go, oh yeah, I've noticed a bit at the back's a little starting to feel a little bit thin. You say, yeah. Then you kind of delve into the conversation then. I think coming straight out and saying it is quite I think there's a better way to go about it personally, but you know.
Yeah, it's probably meant in a nice way, you know, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm sure,
it, but at the same time, it was just kind of...
Yeah, I think people just don't sometimes realise what effect it can have on your mentality and how you feel about yourself, you know, your self-esteem and everything else. So I think it's, So how did you, obviously after that from that moment on then, is that when you sort of thought more about it? Was that when you were kind of consistently thinking about the back?
Oh, I got quite obsessed, to be honest. Like, you know, they're kind of like taking photos from the back and just like, you know, seeing how much hair there was. Yeah. And like monitoring when there was less hair, etc., etc. So,
what did you notice about your sort of monitoring? Did you notice that like maybe different times of the year it was a bit thinner, or did you see it getting thinner overall? Or?
That weirdly enough, yes. Okay. Like my hair is thinnest like in the winter/spring. Like for whatever reason, it sort of like get thicker throughout the year.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very, very odd. Like, but in general, like since I started taking like finasteride and minoxidil, like
nice.
I actually got more hair than I used to have. So,
wow, okay.
That's
good.
It's good, but still kind of like not as much hair as I ideally have, obviously.
Yeah, of course.
But in terms of maintenance, it does sort of do the job.
Yeah, definitely. And have you had any side effects from them at all?
I've had 0 side effects.
That's good.
But like, I generally with medication don't really have much side effects.
Oh, you're quite lucky when it comes to that, yeah. Well, that's good, man. I'm glad to hear that you found a solution for it. That's really good. Because you can see where your hairline is. You can see the sort of the roundness there as you look in. It's always hard when there's direct light above it because it doesn't really show it off as much. But when you step back in a minute, like when you've got out the chair and I step you back away from direct light, wait until you see how thick your hair looks. It'll look a lot thicker. So did you, obviously when the barber mentioned it to you and you kind of went down that sort of, I guess, a bit of a personal rabbit hole, I guess, right? Did you speak to anyone? Did you talk to friends or family or?
I basically called my parents straight away.
Yeah.
Just kind of like, have you been lying to me? That's just not been sort of like obvious.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, I think nobody actually wants to tell you these things. Like
it's not the easiest conversation to have though, is it? It's a tough conversation to have with anybody, isn't it, about hair loss? Hopefully our channel and videos like what we're doing, the Talking Hair Loss series, like I think that's one of the reasons why we came up with the idea was because we wanted to be able to get men to talk about it. You know what I mean? It was we'd never seen anyone doing it to this level, and we were just like, you know what, if we can try and get guys in who are open to talk about it, hopefully it'll break the stigma a little bit, and oh my word, the response has been unbelievable. Like, people like yourself who have recently, or not recently, found out, but like obviously realised that they've got hair loss, and then obviously we've had some lads in who have been like 15, 16 who that's when they first discovered they had hair loss and things. It's just it's been unbelievable, really, the response. But no, it's a touchy subject. It really is. It's just good that we can have one openly, and there's a reason that we're here right now for that conversation. You know what I mean? It's a much more easier conversation to have between us.
Well, obviously people who don't really care much at all. They just shave their hair off and that's it.
100%.
I've got a few friends who like in the same position and they just shave it all off. It's never been an issue, like literally from day one. I would. Do
you know what would be interesting? I'd love to get a guy in who has just shaved it off, just to sort of see like his approach on how he has come to terms with the hair loss. You know what I mean? I think it'd be amazing, because it's like you said, like some guys do just crack on with it, don't they? They're just like, I don't really care, done. But others, obviously, it's totally like a personal situation though, and it's like, because I think with hair loss, it's not just about losing your hair. It's like people feel like they're losing their identity, feel like losing, there's a lot more to it, isn't there, than just what some people are just very okay with that, whereas others aren't, So when you spoke to your parents, what was their response?
It's kind of like, oh yeah, well, I mean, I thought it was just like, we're not going to tell you, you're going to find out anyway, that kind of thing.
Okay,
which was the case.
Yeah.
I tried like a lot of different things, and as well, like it just bleached it for a while, just because obviously, like, the brighter it is, the less of like in terms of difference with the scalp.
Yeah, of course.
That's kind of worked for a bit as well, until it doesn't. And
I guess to the point where it probably dries out quite a bit though as well, doesn't it, because of the bleach? Yeah.
But the minoxidil and finasteride has been like the best in terms of like upkeep, like with what's there.
Did you ever think of going down the route of getting a hair transplant?
I would not be opposed at all.
Okay.
Like kind of, some of them look really good.
Yeah. Oh yeah. God, yeah. We've had some clients coming through the door here that, I at first glance I wouldn't even know myself, and I've worked within the hair loss field for, probably close to about 18 years now. You know what I mean? Yeah. I've been in with clients when they've got their actual treatments done. You know what I mean? Their actual surgery's done. So there are some incredible transplants out there. But then again, like anything, where there's good, there's bad, right? And there's some not so good.
Yeah.
And I feel really, really sorry for the ones who haven't got the good ones, because it is just not a look of the draw, but it's wherever you go and whoever you see, isn't it? That's the problem. It's a bit like getting a haircut, isn't it? It's like, you know, you'll get a good one and you could get a bad one, or you know what I mean? It just depends on where you go, doesn't it? A lot of the time. So
yeah, but some people like actually ruin their scalp, no? Because like when they got a bad transplant, like literally that they can't even like shave it off anymore because like there's like
the scarring, there's heavy scarring, 100%. So when the back and sides have gone, you only have to focus on the top. Okay. And then just blasting off the back and sides, ready to use the clippers. There you go. So that top now is all completely uniform. There's no overhanging bits.
Yeah.
And you've got a nice bit of texture sitting through there. So you can see when you first came in, when that's taken down nice and tight, it's going to look very nice.
Perfect.
You know? I'm going to start with a 4, okay? And blend down. I'm going to do like a 4 into a 3. I think that'll be a nice sort of even length.
Good.
So friendship groups, how many of your male and female friends have you noticed have got hair loss too?
I'd say my very close friends, more than half even.
Really?
Yeah.
More than half, yeah.
Yeah, but
wow.
Most people, I said, don't really care all that much. It's kind of like, two of my very best friends, they've been bald for, I'd say like a very long time, ever since I've known them basically, and they're like mid-30s, and they just like shave it off completely.
Really, yeah?
Yeah. And they both like wearing hats as well, but like...
okay, yeah.
So I usually don't, I mean, one of them you see without a hat on, but the other one usually you see with a hat on.
Really? And I bet he looks weird without his hat on, doesn't
yes,
he? He's just got that look, hasn't he? Yeah.
It's basically like without the hat. I can't even tell you when I last saw him without a hat. It's sort of like summer hats, you know?
Yeah, just like baseball cap wearing,
Exactly.
Yeah. Some people really suit a baseball cap though, don't they? Like others don't. Some people do. That's really cool though. I think again as well, but with him, obviously, you know, when you say that he doesn't care, and obviously I can't put words in his mouth or even talk for him, but I think for me, the fact that he's wearing a hat is probably an insecurity of some sort, isn't it? I would imagine that's why he's turned to the hat wearing guy, you know. Which again, you know, it doesn't, obviously I think that's a really cool look anyway, so I don't think it matters too much, but you know, I think there are the guys, like you said, who are just totally proud and just show it off, which again, I think that confidence level is just unbelievable, isn't it? How you can be so not bothered in a way. It's incredible.
Actually, someone I lived with last year, like he had like full hair, but he shaved it all off and just got a tattoo on his head.
Oh, so the SMP?
No,
an actual tattoo?
An actual tattoo.
Oh, right.
Like he just basically was like, I'm never going to have hair again. I'm going to have the tattoo.
What did he get, like a spider's web or something? Or something really cool?
Amazing, yeah.
Wow.
Well, not quite a spider's web, but like really
proper amazing tattoo,
and he absolutely suited so well.
See, that's it, man. People get creative, don't they? You know? That's amazing.
Well, yeah, without actually losing hair, I would have never even thought of that being a possibility. Like, I think just literally getting your head tattooed and not actually thinking of having hair again.
That's it. Well, there is that thing, that SMP, which is scalp micropigmentation, right?
Yeah, I think that is not something I'd ever do.
Would you never do that now? No. See, what that's good for is anybody who wants that kind of like, who wants this sort of stubble look, because it creates a stubble effect, right? And then you kind of basically, you then draw the hairline on, essentially, right, with the tattoo.
Yeah.
But it's not actually a tattoo, though. It's not classed as a tattoo because it doesn't go down to, I think it's the epidermis. I don't think it goes into the epidermis.
All right.
So it fades after about 5 years, so it's something you can try out, you know, if you want to, but would never push you into it. But what you could do for yours, for example, is you could do your crown area. So then you've got a shadow. Because you've still got such good hair on the top as well, you've still got hair. That would cast a shadow around on the existing hair, you see. So there's ways you can get creative with it, you get what I mean? I'm not saying like shave it off and tattoo it, but I'm saying you could still do it now and it would almost, you know, just from a distance, you know, from like sort of even from this distance here, it would just give you like a shadow, which would then obviously draw the effect away of scalp exposure.
Oh, you're giving me ideas, yeah.
Well, you know, it's not a bad avenue to explore as well. You know, you're already taking your finasteride and minoxidil, so that's obviously not going to get any worse, which is great. So, and hopefully you're on the mend as well. It's starting to go back what it can. So that's perfect. You're already at that point. The next thing you could look at if you want to is just something that's basically non-invasive treatments, which is like SMP. It's non-invasive, so I always think
I thought it was permanent because like that would be an issue because obviously once you start losing hair everywhere else, you know, if it's permanent, then you basically might just be left with a few dots on your head.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, which obviously wouldn't look good when you, or if you lost the rest of it, right? But no, so it only lasts about 5 years. And I think the good thing about that as well is I'm always a big believer in trying non-invasive treatments first before you try surgery. Because obviously surgery is surgery, there's always risks with surgery. So I'm always like, you know, try that first, see if that works. If you like that, great. I know it costs a bit more money, but going under the knife straight away, I'm always a little bit kind of, I think you're hedging your bets sometimes, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Especially if you haven't done your research, if you jump in a bit too quick, which I know loads of people do. I know loads of people just find the cheapest one and go for it, you know what I mean? Some great results sometimes, not so great results the next time. So I think it just depends on if you get lucky, really. I think sometimes with those kind of cheaper ones, but yeah. So there's loads of things now, which is a little bit, you know, less painful than getting surgery.
Not quite ready to completely shave it all off and just be bald.
I don't think you need to, but I think what we've done today is definitely good enough. I really do. I think it's done what we needed to do. It's given you everything you want out of it. So, you know, what do you need to do anything else with it? I think while there's still hair on the head, we should try and do something with it, you know? That's the way I see it. So is it a conversation that you guys, you feel comfortable having with your friends about hair loss? Would you talk about it?
To be honest, not really that much.
No?
Like, it's not something that regularly sort of comes up.
No. Would you feel comfortable having a conversation with them, though?
I'd have a conversation with anyone, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I personally don't
meet
mind.
Your mate over here.
I also know people who would talk to me about it, but are really self-conscious if somebody would say something to them, like as in like, you know, out of nowhere in the pub or something, you know, just like mentioning something that makes them feel really uncomfortable. Yeah. Even though in private they would talk about it.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
So I would never even in public say anything to anyone.
No, of course.
Like, but
unless they brought it up to you, I guess.
Yes, of course. But like, even when people shaved their head, it wasn't like as in, where you finally shaved your head. Like it's kind of like as in you do, of course. You know.
Kind of you notice, but you don't kind of. So you might say something on the quiet, like, "You shaved your head." You know? Oh God, you know, since that series we've done, I get people talking to me on the train about it and everything. You know, it's hilarious. I'll be sitting there and I'll be like, there'll be a guy next to me and say he's like, you know, say he's thinning a little bit, and he just so happens to watch your videos. He'll sort of like, I'll sort of see him kind of looking at me, and I'll kind of make eye contact with him, and he'll be like, "Oh, I really like the hair loss videos." I'm like, "Oh, nice one, mate." And he'd be like, "Can I talk to you about mine?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure."
Yeah, I mean,
it's great, man. I love it. It's just because I love talking about hair, right? I'll talk about hair all day. And when you're talking to someone who's talking something about such a big issue that they're willing to talk to you about, especially in public, I think you've got to listen. You know what I mean? You've got to be all ears for something like that, you know? So yeah, it's brilliant. Some of the chats that I have about hair loss is excellent.
I can imagine, yeah. It's like kind of like a therapy session for them.
Yeah, essentially. And to be honest, for me as well, to be fair. Yeah. Well, I think sometimes, like, you know, I think I haven't got a hair loss issue, right? Yeah. I've lost density, don't get me wrong. I've definitely lost density to my hair. It might not look it, but compared to what it was like 10 years ago, it was way thicker than what it is, right?
Wow.
I've just kept the hairline, right? That's the thing. The hairline stays the same. But if you feel the hair, like you can't fit it now. It's caked in product at the minute. But, well, it's not really. But I've put a bit of product in to kind of keep it styled today because I'm in desperate need of a haircut, right? So I'm very jealous of all the haircuts I've done today, put it that way. And so obviously with the product already in it, it changes the colour slightly as well. I've got a clay in it today, so it makes it look a little bit darker, slightly healthier in a way. So, you know, if you feel it without product, it's very flyaway. It's very straight and very flyaway. And you wouldn't think it, would you? But because I've kept that, if that would have went back up to here, then you'd be like, okay, you've got hair loss. But there's a lot of hair loss that people get that isn't just about like what you can obviously see. There's loads of other types of hair loss. So, obviously, I can't relate heavily to it, but I kind of know, I can understand why people feel the way they do. So I think for someone to talk to you quite openly about it shows that what we're trying to do with this series has worked. You know, that's the way I see it. Like, even if one person talks to me in public, it's perfect. We've accomplished what we tried to do. And I think that's what's great about it. So when did you start your treatments of the minoxidil and finasteride?
Quite a long time ago, actually. It's like 2019.
Oh wow, nice, nice. Yeah. So in that space, have you seen a change in the hair?
Oh, it's definitely got much better, yeah. I think 2020, all of a sudden had more hair than before as well.
Oh wow. So can you imagine what it would be like now if you hadn't started that treatment?
Yeah.
It'd be a very different story, wouldn't it?
Yeah. I think it's the maintenance more than anything also, like, because like I don't actually notice losing hair at all anymore. Like density and anything doesn't really change much except for like a sort of seasonal
shedding, yeah.
Which I just Googled like only like a couple of years ago, and I was like, why is it like so much thinner like at certain months? And then like
I know. I think that's where people do panic though. A lot of guys do really panic when they get the seasonal shedding. I think that's when they think, oh no, I'm starting to lose my hair, and you're not. You know, that's the thing. But it's very hard to know if you've never experienced it, or if you experience it, you know, once or twice in your life. It's very, very hard to know what that is. So I guess I can totally understand why people do feel that panic, you know, and it sets in. The clients I talk to on a sort of weekly basis, like a lot of the guys do experience shedding whose hair I cut, you know, and you have to kind of just explain to them like it is totally normal.
Yeah.
I think, but you know, if you are technically going to someone who maybe isn't in the know about that, then you've got no one to really talk about to, have you? You know.
Yeah. And also, like certain people wouldn't notice it as much, obviously, because they have so much hair that a little bit of shedding just makes no difference.
100%, yeah, definitely. I notice it as well. I notice. To be honest, I haven't actually. I wish I'd have done this now though, but I hadn't taken any notes. I always tell people to do a little hair diary, like what you were doing, you know.
Oh, yeah.
And I do make a note of it when I notice it, if you get what I mean. Mm-hmm. But it's one of those things I don't always notice it until like one day I'm like, my goodness me, like there's. If I'm in the bath or the shower or something, there could be like one day and I'm like washing my hair and I'm like, oh my god, there's like loads of hair on my hands here. And there's moments of that, then I might make a note in my phone about it, you know. But I would like to be a bit more religious about that if I could be. Do it a bit more often. So haircut wise then, what have you sort of been, or since you noticed your hair loss, have you only been getting haircuts to try and help cover it, or have you been, obviously I know you said you were bleaching it for a while, but like, did you do any crazy haircuts? Did you try anything a bit nuts when you started feeling like you were losing it?
I did actually like grow it out in 2021, and it looked good. Like weirdly enough, it was a lot thicker as well.
Oh wow.
I don't know what that was. Maybe just because there was just a lot of like, so when my hair's dry, it's quite voluminous on top. Yeah, it is, as you rightly suggested, just to go short in that sense.
For everything that you've asked for, yeah, for sure. I think in the initial consultation, I think what you were saying, no, exactly, that's it. I think, again, you know, I know I sound like a broken record, but a haircut does have to suit your lifestyle. It has to suit your personality if you want to get the best out of it, you know? And again, I think even going short doesn't necessarily limit you to something different, you know, or to something that you can't have. You know, you can still be a bit like, you know, a bit creative with it if you wanted to, you know what I mean? There's loads of things you can do on the back and sides that you could be creative with, you know, and obviously have that texture on top. There is a guy, I can't remember the actor's name now, but there's a thing going around recently online where, like, it was like a guy, I can't remember the actor's name. If anyone is watching and they kind of decipher what I'm trying to make out here, there's an actor who has got hair loss and he's grown it out and pushed it back, and it's very high. His hair loss is to about...
From
White Lotus?
Walton Goggins.
What's his name?
Walton Goggins.
Walton Goggins, okay. Yeah. So Walton Goggins, that's the guy, right? Yeah. He's like a man on trend with his hair right now. It's like people are like
he's a cool guy,
loving it. He's cool, but he is like, he's doing the thing that your friends are doing. He's got hair loss and he's just like, okay, I'm still growing it. And you know, that I think what people like about that, and this is the way I see it, is that because of his confidence with his hair, doing that, I think that's why people like him. I think people probably I think maybe that's why people find him also attractive, because he's embracing and he's confident in himself. And that can be an attractive thing, can't it, to some people, you know what I mean? Yeah, so you know, obviously, you know, there still is life, even if you have got hair loss. Do you get what I mean?
I think like in the show they actually, Amy Lee Wood, like his girlfriend Chelsea, makes a reference to his hair loss, and it's like, what? No.
Really? Yeah. I've never watched White Lotus, you know. I haven't seen it. I'll have to watch it. It does seem quite interesting, yeah. There we go, bud. So how does that look for you?
Awesome.
Happy with that, yeah?
Very happy with that.
Amazing, amazing. Right, let me just give you a neck of shave, and then I'll just kind of talk you through. I'll do a little recap of what we've done, just so you get an understanding. And then I'll just show you kind of like how the hair moves about on the top. So the main thing we did today was just get rid of that kind of overhang that you had on both sides, to make it easier for you to manage, okay? Because I'd struggle, you know, trying to manage an overhang where I can't really figure out where it goes. And obviously I know how to style hair. So I would struggle with haircuts like that personally, because it's like, where does it go, you know? And especially when you've got like a little bit of like lack of density in other areas, it just almost like draws attention to what you're trying not to draw attention to, I believe. Yes. So I always try and, I know not everyone can always achieve that, but if you can and you don't need it, I always try and push it the other way, mate. So hopefully you fully embrace what we've done today and you like it. That'll be really good. So I'll talk you through
100%.
it. So that's a 4 into a 3 on the back and side, right? And I cut the top in a uniform finish. I working horizontally across the top and down, because that creates a nice little bit of texture, as you can see there. We've used a sectioning pattern to create movement and texture, right? Blow dried a bit of the cream into it as well to give it more fullness, which what it does, it gives you body in finer hair, and it also gives you hold and movement. So as you can see, you can still play around with your hair without having to do anything else with it. So I think that is probably the best option we had today. And I personally think it looks a lot thicker as well. I really do.
Very much like it, yes. It's perfect. Wow. Yeah. Awesome.
Big difference there?
I'm very happy, yeah.
So that's a 4 into a 3 around the back and sides, just into a very low taper on the bottom as well. Just a very natural taper, not a harsh taper, okay?
Yeah.
Good done, man.
Perfection.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Well, listen, thank you so much for talking about your hair loss. I know it's not an easy thing to do.
Oh, it's fine, yeah.
And you were obviously the last guest on our Series 2. So, guys, if you'd like to see Series 3, leave it in the comments. Let's see if we can get another series of this, because I think it's been brilliant. And, you know, we've met some incredible people. You know, Harry's one of them, and we've met some incredible people along the way as well. So if you want Series 3, leave a comment saying Series 3, and we'll see what we can do. Happy, yeah?
Cheers.
Thank you very much, buddy.
Thank you.
Thank you. Also, Harry, just as a massive thank you from us and Manuel, I want to give you the power shampoo as well.
Oh, awesome.
Just a little gift from us. All right?
Thank you very much.
Thanks, man. Lovely to meet you. Thanks for sharing your story. So, obviously, you're under direct light in the chair.
Yeah.
Step back into normal, natural light. You can't tell, can you? No. It looks super thick, doesn't it? So that's what I'm saying. Like, sometimes under direct light, it doesn't always. It always makes it look a little bit more see-through. But that's what people will see as you're walking around. Okay, looks good, though. Amazing. Super. Thanks very much, man.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Cheers.
All the best. Thanks, Harry.